Did you know that nobody pays you for what you know? They pay you for what you do. Taking action is fundamental to building your business, and learning to do it well unlocks the power to create massive impact and feel lit up every day. I'm Jo Ingram, and here's where we go all out for getting the courage and conviction to follow our true purpose and join the tribe of action takers making it happen. So why haven't you taken that action? What's so difficult about taking the next step? Well, today's episode is looking at two of the biggest limiting beliefs that hold us back as new entrepreneurs. They keep us playing small, stop us leveling up for our business, and unless we overcome them, we're just not going to achieve our full potential. And these limiting beliefs today are that you don't feel like you're good enough and you don't have enough time. If that's you, listen up, because I'm going to be tackling them one by one. So first up, do you ever feel that you're not good enough and that you can't compete with other people out there doing something really similar? Do you know the feeling where you're scrolling on Instagram or somewhere else and suddenly somebody pops up and you have this sinking feeling in your stomach and you go, oh my God, they're doing what I do. Oh no, not only are they doing what I do, but they're doing it so well. Oh my goodness, look at all their followers. Oh, look at their amazing offer. Look at their posts. Oh, look. And if you're anything like me, when you first get into that whole vibe, you just think, oh, well, I can't do it. Oh, no, how will I ever build myself up to that? And you know what? I really had to have a real word with myself about this one. And it takes a bit of a mindset change, because otherwise you're never, ever going to step forward and succeed at what probably you're born to do. And the truth is, look within and ask yourself, can I really add value in this area? And if it's your true purpose, then the answer will always be yes. And that's because you simply have to take a step forward and start to build your business, irrespective of how well other people are doing. And I have to say that some of the quality out there is amazing. It's really easy to feel intimidated. I always think to myself, how can you compare my first chapter to their finished book? They've had the benefit of the time, the experience, and all the things they've learned along the way, which are in my future. And it's the same for all of us. We just have to start where we are. And one thing that makes me feel a lot better about it, I don't know if you've ever done this, when you scroll back and have a good look at their very first post. If it's a podcaster, go to Ep 1, go to their trailer, their introduction. If it's someone you're looking at on YouTube, scroll all the way back to that very first post. And a few things always strike me about that. One is how far they've come since they made that first post. And you can really see how they weren't fully formed at the time, but also that they've often changed their offer and changed exactly what they talk about and concentrate on. And I think that's so reassuring, because it says we can't get it wrong. Even if we start on one thing right now, if we evolve and change in the future, that's fine. Other people have done it and those people have gone on to great success. And that's actually what we're meant to do. We're really meant to iterate and we're meant to learn. We're meant to keep taking a step forward, because ultimately the world needs your gift. You have something to contribute and you have value to give. But I know that also these other great feelings come over, massive feelings like a fear of failure and a fear of shame, because ultimately there's a lot at stake. For a new entrepreneur, if you're like me, you're a mum, you obviously want to earn enough money to support your family, but at a stage in life where you want to feel that there's a sense of meaning. There's a lot at stake going into this business, because this business is what's going to sustain you both emotionally and financially for, well, the rest of your working life. That's certainly my ambition. So with all that pressure on yourself, then needing to feel that your work is perfect, is brilliant, is as good as the market leaders starts to become quite a big pressure. But to that, my view is that you just have to fail fast, because if you don't learn, then you can't iterate. And if you can't iterate, then you can't make it better. If you can't make it better, then you're not going to build your business, because ultimately from action comes the clarity. You can't get the clarity just reading it and looking at it on paper. You can only get the clarity from when you actually act and you get feedback from your ideal clients and understand what they need in order to create the transformation that you are working to achieve with them. And that's where you really have to get into messy action. Because if you go with everything being perfect, it's just going to take too long. And you're never going to get to that point of iteration where you can actually get to your very, very best work. You know, I had a 20-year career working in media and advertising. And within that industry, we were taught very, very much that perfectionism wasn't only necessary, it was absolutely demanded. You had to just get everything perfect. So if we were writing a presentation, for example, that was going to be seen by a client, your boss would look at it, some other colleagues would look at it, everybody would have an opinion, it would be changed 20 times. You'd have to build in a lot of time to do all of this, to make very, very small changes. It always strikes me, you know, the 80-20 rule, that last percentage of time actually gives the very least value. And working as an entrepreneur, it's very, very different to that. You have to feel and realise that your work is good enough. If you're 80% there, it's good enough to go. Because that last 20% is probably going to take you 80% of the time and yield very, very few results. And it's much, much easier to get stuff out there and make an impact quickly. And if it doesn't work, you have to change it and you have to iterate it. It's all about that 20 seconds of courage, you know, where you get that moment where you just press go. And in the time that I've been doing this work, I've generally found that when I have taken that 20 seconds of courage and just pressed go, I've hardly ever regretted it. No, to this point, at least, I've never regretted just taking that 20 seconds of courage. Some amazing stuff happens when you step into that zone of fearlessness. So if you feel like you're not good enough and you can't compete, try not to hold back. There really is space for you too. There's this beautiful Japanese proverb and it goes like this. It goes, "A flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms." I just love that because it just says that we can all be beautiful. We can all succeed. And ultimately, if you really feel like you can't, it's probably because you're not clear that you're making the transformation for your ideal customers. Go back there, work with some more people, work with them to deliver the transformation, even do it free if you're at a very early stage in building your business, and start to get the self-assurance that you can transform people, get their feedback on their testimonials. Because when you come from a place of knowing that you can help, that's when you can overcome that feeling of not being good enough. Here's one. Do you ever say, "I don't have enough time"? It's like, right, we all say it sometimes. We just don't have enough time. And it's true, right? We don't have enough time. Like at the moment in 2020 with the pandemic, most of us got less time than ever, right? It's homeschooling our kids, caring for relatives. I know that a lot of people are working 2 jobs while you're building a business and doing your previous job. And it's really, really hard to carve out enough time to build this new business. The problem is that when you keep saying, "I don't have enough time," you're believing that. And before you know it, you're not achieving your goals because you're not putting enough time behind the things that will make you achieve those goals in the longer term. Because ultimately, we've all got the same 24 hours. And this blows my mind because it means that, you know, the top CEOs running multi-million-pound empires who've built it up themselves, to all of us have the same 24 hours. And I'm really curious what differentiates what they're doing with people who aren't succeeding. And I've come to the realization that it's all about being intentional with your time. It's how you use the time that's going to make the difference, whether you achieve the success or you don't. It's being effective with your time and taking effective action. And when I looked at my business, I realised that some of the work I was doing just wasn't moving the needle. And actually finding the needle movers, you know, the tasks that really make the difference and move your business forward, is what you need to focus your time on. And all the rest of it is essentially some level of time wasting. You just don't realise it at the time. You don't know that you're wasting time until you really go through the exercise. And you do an audit and you literally write down all the things that you do in a given day, or indeed over an entire week. You start to ask yourself, what exactly is taking up all my time? When I am working on my business, what is it I'm doing? When I'm not working on my business, what's taking up all my time? Because prioritization is going to become the real key to unlocking the effective action that'll level up your business. And so often we default to what's easiest. You know, we don't do the hard things first. And I'm an absolute lover of getting the hard things out of the way. I'm really into delayed gratification. And I notice that when people don't do that, they come unstuck really, really fast, because most of us, this might not be the case for you, but most of us have more energy in the start of the day. And when we kind of waste that energy doing peripheral not needle moving tasks, by the time the day goes through and we think, oh, I must get to that hard thing, the thing that's really going to level me up, the thing that is stretching my ability right now, I'm moving out of my comfort zone, the energy's gone by then. And I really, really would urge you, when you wake up in the morning, if there's something that is hardest, that needs more concentration, just do it first, because that's most likely going to be the piece that's going to level up your business. And ultimately, we do quite a lot of time wasting. This fantastic tool is called the not to do list. So after you've done your audit of all the things you're doing, go through this list and ask yourself the following questions. Which things on this list can I automate, eliminate, or delegate? And the task is to really find a way to stop spending time on these things that aren't leveling up your business. A good example for the mums out there, just like me, I've hired a cleaner. So for me, cleaning the house was taking quite a long time. And I had all these icky feelings about hiring a cleaner. But I have to say that having a cleaner just changes the game, because I know that those hours that I'm not spending cleaning, I am going to work on needle moving tasks for my business. And I'm actually investing in my future. I'm spending the money on the cleaner, but I'm actually viewing it as an investment because I'm going to use that time so effectively. So have a look through that list and work out what you can automate, eliminate, and delegate and remove from the list. Here's one particularly about eliminate. How many hours are you spending watching Netflix? I know I love a box set, and I really enjoy that downtime. I've got this feeling, I sort of sit down at the end of the day and I go, I've earned this, I deserve this. The kids are in bed, I can flick on my favourite. At the moment I'm watching The Crown. I'm just like, this is awesome, I just feel great. And I've got to be honest, I'm not going to stop watching Netflix, because life's about more than just business, it's your entire life. It's one of the reasons that we want to build our own businesses, is so we can live life on our terms. So I would never remove that element of enjoyment from my life. But there was also a time where I found myself sitting on the sofa during the day and the kids were at school, and this was absolute primo working time. I could have been really efficient with that time, and instead I just sunk into Netflix. And very quickly I realised, no, that has to be eliminated, because this is not a person that's going to succeed in building a great brand and a great business. This is someone that's sat on the sofa in the middle of the day watching Netflix. Now, there's always the odd day, but ultimately it shouldn't be the biggest part of what you do. So have a look down your own personal list, do a really honest audit, and ask yourself, what elements here can I really take off my plate and create more time for the needle moving things that are going to make the difference? So really, it's about making the best decisions possible about your time. Really drop into asking, if I only had 1 hour a day, what's the one thing I could do today and for this week that will really move my business forward? So as action takers, we know we have to overcome these limiting beliefs. And the two that we've talked about today, about not having enough time or not feeling good enough, just come up over and over again. For me, for my clients, for everyone I'm looking at on social media. So today, just shine a spotlight on one of those areas for yourself. Ask yourself if it's holding you back. And if you can do one thing today, one action that's going to move you in the right direction. Get in touch. Let me know what it is, and I'll speak soon. Have an action-filled day. Bye now. And if you'd like an extra nudge in the right direction on today's themes, check the show notes for a link to my freebie, which helps you move the needle and overcome those limiting beliefs. I hope you enjoyed listening to Action Taker Tribe today. If you did, please subscribe and leave a review, and share it with anybody else that might find it useful on their journey to successful entrepreneur. If you'd like to get in touch and find out more about what I do, follow me on Instagram, I am jo.ingram, or on my website, which is iamjoingram.com.